Hi, friends. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to Brave in Action. I am so excited to be here with all of you today. It is cold and snowy. I looked out the window as if you all could see outside my window, and you can't, but that's okay. We had a snow day yesterday. How many of you are experiencing snow days? And snow days are weird in remote learning. My youngest two are in hybrid learning, so it affected them. The older two, it didn't affect so much. It's interesting, though. Today's topic is, well, we've titled it Ask for Help and Grow. Grow, expand, which is the E in the Brave method. But what I really mean when I say ask for help and grow is to be vulnerable and to allow people in and to connect and ask for what you need and want, and then offer that back to other people. So there's accountability, vulnerability, delegation. And I know that for some folks whose kids are in regular school, for example, Molly on Team Brave, she had to be really vulnerable and say in the last couple of days, there's 3 days in a row of snow days. It means that my nanny can't get here. My kid doesn't go to school. It messes with my schedule. So I have to be flexible and reframe. And that's a hard thing to do as a business owner, to say, this isn't going as planned. I've got you and I'm not going to let any balls drop, but I'm going to have to step away for a minute and I need you to be understanding. But vulnerability has strength and power in it. Somebody that we all love and admire is Brene Brown. And one of her famous lines, which I use all the time, is that vulnerability is the birthplace of invention. What she means, well, what I see when I can't speak directly to what Brene means when she says it, but what I see and feel and hear when she says that is that when we are our most vulnerable and authentic selves, then we are also our most creative and inventive selves. Why is that? Well, because when we put our truest selves out, when we show ourselves warts and scars and all, and people still love us, want us, trust us, value us, and then we learn to do that with and for ourselves, all of a sudden the floodgates to availability for creativity and invention appear. And when we are hiding behind some sort of facade, when we think we have to do it all by ourselves, or when we think people won't like us who we are as we are, we don't show up enough. We don't show up in truth. We don't show up empowered and powerful and confident. And so being your most authentic self and to be vulnerable, it is required that you be your most authentic self, can sometimes be as simple as recognizing that you can't do it all alone and asking for help. I am reminded of a story years ago when I was going through my divorce and I was transitioning. I'd been running a business for a really long time, but I had a partner, I had a husband who paid all the bills, and my money, I was doing well, but my money didn't keep us alive. And all of a sudden that changed. I had to go from doing a job that I loved, but there was no financial requirement, to the job that I loved needed to pay my mortgage, keep my kids in private school, pay for my car, get food on the table. It needed to do all of these things, which meant it needed to level up in a really big way. And just like that, lickety split. And what I learned was that that was never going to happen for me unless I asked for help and support. And that looked like a lot of different things in a lot of different ways with a lot of different people. But one of the ways that I received that support by being vulnerable and asking for what I needed and wanted was in support with my kiddos. I was starting to travel a lot, and that meant that I needed some rides to and from school or some play dates after school until their dad could get off of work and come and pick them up, things like that. And it's a hard thing for moms in particular to do, is to say, I need help with this. I can't do this by myself, because we are somehow taught we're supposed to be able to do it all by ourselves. And that's just not the way it works. And what happened was I put the ask out, and almost inevitably lots of people offered to help. And what that showed me was that when I am vulnerable and honest with my community has my back. These people, they legitimately care for me. learning to ask for help and recognizing that I cannot and would not be able to do it all on my own was the moment in my life where I realized I was part of a valuable community where I was valued and I was loved. And I somehow hadn't noticed that before. I really hadn't connected with that before. And it was game changing because all of a sudden you go, I don't have to do it all by myself. It's not all on me. And throughout the years, the opportunities to then pay that forward to the same community when they need help with whatever, run a grocery errand, drive somebody to the doctor's office, whatever it is, I've really made it a point to, as much as possible, say yes to supporting, as long as I could do so without it sacrificing, something that I needed to be doing. If I had a work event or, was responsible for my kids. But when I can say yes, I do say yes. And that also comes from being very vulnerable and authentic and being part of something else. Accepting help allows you to feel more powerful. That sounds counterintuitive to what you all might think, but identifying an area where doing this on your own does not equal thriving or succeeding in any way, and then figuring out who can support you, whether it's delegation or just plain old support from a friend or a community member or family member or whatever, and then asking for that and having that received, accepting it graciously and gratefully is an empowering feeling. That feeling of knowing, again, that you are not in it alone, that people are there with you, that you are loved, that you have value, you are worth supporting, is incredible. And a lot of times as a business owner, that does mean we're hiring a team member or we're doing a trade with somebody or collaborating, but it doesn't always have to mean that. Sometimes it can be asking for help with the dishes. It can be saying, hey, help me stay accountable for doing a walk every day. One of the ways that I'm the most vulnerable is every Monday. This checks off so many boxes for me. Every Monday morning, my little kids are in hybrid school from 9 to 12. And I walk with my client, friend, client, Rachel. And I love that I say that. And she loves that I say that. Client, friend, client. We have set this time aside. We talk about work. Sometimes we coach. Sometimes we counter coach each other. We are working on an incredible product called the Create Brave Manifestation Card Deck, which I can't wait to share with you. So we talk about that. We talk about kids. We talk about TV shows. We move, we walk, we get exercise in, we prioritize this time. And it's very vulnerable to say, this is my favorite thing that I do all week. This is something that I don't want to give up. I'm not going to schedule a meeting. It's very authentic and honest to say this level of self-care and self-compassion is something it's non-negotiable for me. That doesn't cost anything. And asking for her opinion and ideas as we do that is something that I do not take for granted. There are so many ways to show up in your true authentic self and to show up vulnerably. I would love to hear from all of you. How are you choosing to be vulnerable right now? And what doors is it opening for you? Because again, when we show up as our most authentic selves, the doors start to open. People can smell bullshit, but they also can tell when you are being honest and when you are really connecting. And that may mean as simple as sometimes days are hard. I had a hard day yesterday. I posted on Facebook. I said, I don't want to. And I didn't say anything else. And I was really curious to sort of see what happened. And the comments were hilarious. Somebody said, you don't want to eat pineapple? And I said, I don't want to anything, but I will, because we can do hard things. And it was a reminder to myself that you can stop, you can pause, you can take a break, figure it out, understand your feelings, understand your emotions, but also you're strong and you're capable and you can do this. And you don't have to do it alone. Just having the community support to comment and respond was joy-filled and gave me a little bit of a boost and a connection, which I so desperately needed. And maybe now that I reflect on it, maybe that was the vulnerable quest. That's what I was seeking. By posting and saying, I don't want to, What I was asking for is, who else is struggling today? And can we struggle together so that it doesn't just feel so bad, and that we'll realize that we're not broken and there's nothing wrong with us? That is an impactful thing to reflect on. So that's in my Brave method, that falls under the 3 R's category. Reassessment and reframing is, why did I do that? What was I looking for when I made that choice yesterday? It was very spur of the moment. And now that I pause to think about it and reflect on it, I'm really able to see what I was seeking was camaraderie and community, that things are hard. And we've been pandemicking, quarantining for a year. And we've gone on waves where it's been so hard and we just smacked the pandemic wall. And then we go on waves where maybe it doesn't feel so bad and we've got this and it's okay. Spring and summer were much better for me. Being able to be outside was incredible. It was kind of game changing. Winter is rough. And right now feels really hard in the pandemic for me and for so many of my clients and so many people that I'm talking to and connecting with. And I think, we're tired, and we had sort of hoped that by now this would be over, and we have hope. And hope is a key component in stimulating our parasympathetic nervous system. Hope is something that actually decreases stress. Did y'all know that? That's why I ask you as a coach to dream about what you want, to ask yourself, what is possible? What is possible for me? Because to create hope then brings down our stress and helps us focus and get a clear vision. And it's so impactful, but it's hard to hope when it just feels like it's all getting dragged out. And I fully understand that. So you've sort of, if you have the right skill set, you can pivot and you can reframe it and go, okay, if I'm not the only one feeling this way, then A, I'm not broken. There's nothing wrong with me. And B, we can all cuddle together. We can huddle in and push through this, and we can still have hope. So I have a comment here that says, I had my aha moment yesterday when I was speaking to a potential client. I usually get a little nervous when talking about someone's budget and the need to get paid. Oh, money, my friends, vulnerability and money. This is thick. But yesterday I manned up and I was like, in order to drive this show, my team needs to get paid to run seasons worth of content. So I was pretty proud of myself with that. 21 is a new me. I don't know who's making this comment. I can't see who it is, but I love whoever it is. This is a whole nother Brave in Action session, but it was very vulnerable, and understanding that you have a product and a service and it's valuable and people want your product and service because it's valuable to them. Oh, it's Derek. Hi, Derek. And in order for them to get what they want and need, there's a transaction of money. And so it's trusting yourself, it's empowering yourself. And it's definitely vulnerable to say, I have this wonderful product and it can do this amazing thing for you. And this is how much it costs, very unapologetically. And it is just what it is. I can do this for you. This is the cost. And that is a difficult thing to do for so many people. It's very vulnerable and impactful and empowering. And I'm so glad to hear for you, Derek, that you've stepped into this in 2021 and that you're ready to take that on. So I am here today to ask all of you to really reflect and think about, how are you showing up vulnerably? How are you asking for support, getting what you need? And come back and chat with me. Leave a comment below and share with me how you're showing up vulnerably. Or if you discover that you're not, how could you show up vulnerably? And what is possible if you do? What is possible for you if you started to show up authentically and vulnerably in the spaces that you are in? It's time to dream. Thanks, everybody. It's been so fun to connect with you right now. I'll be back next Wednesday at 1 p.m. Central for Brave in Action. This is Heather Vickery reminding you today and every day to go out and choose bravely. Bye.